Hello, my name is Starla Henderson and we're continuing with our tree. Today we're going to talk about appliquing our leaves down. As you can see on my quilt, this is the tree itself, and I've got leaves all in the trees. They're lapping over into the border, and they're even down. As I move this, you can see they're falling towards the ground. There's even one, it's green, it kind of blends with the green here. Maybe hard to see on camera, but there's even some on the ground. Then on the other part of the quilt, I've got them falling towards the outhouse door, outhouse, and on the outhouse roof. You can put these leaves as many or as few as you want. That's why I did not draw leaves all over the pattern, because leaves can go anywhere, and you can put them however you want according to your own tastes. So today I'm going to show you how I applique these leaves down. And the first thing, we've already formed our leaves in the last video. So we have a leaf here. It's inside, still has the paper inside. I leave the papers in until I'm ready to applique them down, because it just helps them keep their shape, makes them more sturdy. Whenever it's time to take them out, I use these little needle nose tweezers. They're the really sharp pointed tweezers, because they will get in under this fabric without distorting it. And I'll grab that paper and just gently keep tugging until I get it out. Once I get it out, I'll press it down here like this, and I'll take my iron and I'll press it smooth into shape, just to reinforce what's already there. And then I'm going to take my quilt top, this one is just a sample, and I will put it wherever it is I want it on that quilt, and then I'm going to baste it in place. And the way I did mine, I had 4 different colors, and I made about 10 of each to start with. I think I ended up adding about another 10 or 15 leaves after that, but I started with the first 40, and I would do all of one color, and I scattered them across the whole surface of my quilt, basting them down. Then I would get the next color, did the same thing until I had them all placed, because then I could see that I'd done it more randomly. I wanted it to look as random as I could get it. I didn't want everything in, all colors in one spot. So after I have everything basted down, and we're just going to lay this down here, it's time to sew them down. If you look at this leaf, because of the way we formed it, you've got points going really in the same direction, pointing this way. And that's a little different than the way we've done points before, but it's not difficult. So you're going to take your needle, where's the needle? You're going to take your needle, and you've got this already basted down, and I don't glue baste on this because it doesn't seem to want to stay for me, the glue baste. And these are a lot of little tiny leaves, and you fold it up, and before you know it, you've lost one. So I will thread baste these down, but I'm just going to start near this point that's coming out in the opposite direction of what I'm used to. Now, if you're left-handed, you're going to want this one, because this would be going in the opposite direction that you're used to. But I'm a right-handed person, so I'm doing it this way. And I'm going to come in, I've knotted my thread, and I'm using a brown, or black actually, thread, so hopefully you can see this. And I'm going to take a tiny stitch, so I'm almost to where I want to turn it. And this isn't hard, but you're just going to take this and just kind of fold it back down under, stuff this down. You may have a few loose little threads there where it was raw, and taking tiny stitches, you're going to just keep right on going up the side, just like you would any other point. My needle doesn't want to go through that. There we go. I'm using a different needle because I can use a different thread for this so that you can see it, so it makes it a little bit more awkward and a little more difficult. Alright, now I'm at the point, and I'm going to tuck this down under. Actually, I didn't quite get all the way to my point. Sometimes that's hard to see. When you get to your point, you want to go right into your point. And I didn't quite make it, so I'm going to take another really tiny stitch and go right into that point. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to turn it. And then you may have to kind of tuck this just a little bit because you're dealing with all that excess fabric. Just keep tucking it, and then you're just going to go right on down the other side, taking tiny stitches, because you do have all that fabric in there, and it's those tiny stitches that's going to keep that fabric tucked under that leaf and your edges down. And my stitches are probably, they're less than 1/8 of an inch apart. They're probably closer to 1/16 of an inch apart is about what my stitches most of the time look like. Now you're just going to go the rest of the way around this leaf. The edges are turned. It's just taking those stitches. Then when you get to this one, you're just going to swoop that under just like you would any other point. Come in up into this point just like you would, and then tuck this under and keep right on going. And that's all there is to making these leaves that are already formed. The other leaves, and I didn't make one of these because it's simple applique like we've been doing. I usually start just before the point. I go up, make my point, and then just needle turn all the way around. Can't quite see that. I will start here, go up to the point, and then just needle turn all the way around. And I do this just like I would any other needle turn. I would actually, on this one, I would lay this down and draw around the leaf and cut it out, and then just lay them all over my pattern just like I did these instead of doing a back baste. And you just needle turn it because you already have it drawn. And that's how I would do that one. But for mine, this is the pattern. This is the leaf that I used. I like this leaf. I thought it's pretty, and I like both of the points. But I included the other one just in case you wanted a little bit of variety. Well, that's how you applique your leaves down. I think I used about probably 60 leaves before it was all said and done. So once you have your, I started this after my borders were in place, and we've done our borders now, and so now it's time for you to put your leaves on. This is Starla Henderson with Fronter House Quilts blog. We are finishing up our tree. Thank you for joining me.